Hey everyone, this is Dan Alexander with today's weather and marketing report for this Tuesday, January 21. Snowy one out there in the new northeast megalopolis from DC up through Boston. Here's the National Weather Service total snow forecast for the ongoing winter storm, bringing 8 to 12 inches in a large swath along the I-95 corridor. You can see a lot of snow here in New Jersey, all of Long Island, eastern sections of Connecticut, and all the way down into areas north and west of DC. As far as major storminess goes, though, it's not a really active period across the U.S. This is the total precipitation graphic from the National Weather Service, and you can see that there's this area of precipitation in the northeast and the lakes, largely associated with today's storm. But you notice out west it's really dry. There's a large ridge out west keeping things dry. And the storm track is generally following this jet stream that is shown with this red line. This ridge out west keeps a lot of the Pacific moisture from entering the west coast. The Gulf of Mexico really isn't open for business all that much, except in areas of Florida. So we're not going to see any really wet storms. And, what we're left with are these northern stream disturbances diving down the jet from central Canada into the upper plains and then down through the Midwest and off the East Coast. Now, there could be a few of those over the next week to 10 days that bring some snow, especially in the Mid-Atlantic and the Northeast and back towards places like Chicago. But not really a blockbuster pattern by any means, although today's storm is generally it is a pretty large one. But when we talk about temperatures, those are going to be the big story over the next week and maybe even 2 weeks. This slide shows temperature forecast for day 3 on the left, day 4 on the right, and you can see that as far as Friday is concerned, the coldest weather in the country is here in the northeast. While it's quite warm across the west, we see mainly 60s and 70s along the west coast, which is well above normal even into the southwestern states. Pretty much normal in the south, in the southeast, maybe a shade below. But we see day 4, another shot of cold air starting to take shape across the upper Midwest into Minnesota, Wisconsin, northern Michigan. That becomes well more entrenched as we go to day 5 and day 6, especially day 6. This is a real Arctic blast. But again, the pattern is warm to the west, cold in the east, generally seasonal across the far southern tier. Another thing I wanted to bring up is the snow cover, and what jumps out at me is really the lack of snow here in the west. This could be a problem with drought and snow melt in the spring season. Ski resorts in California are really hurting right now, and as are the ones in Oregon. They really haven't gotten that much snow this winter. The northeast ski resorts aren't doing incredibly well either. They've gotten some snow, but they're still below normal as far as snow cover goes. And this today's storm is actually passing too far south to really impact them with anything significant. So, what does all this mean for you marketers out there? Well, if you're in the apparel industry, it's another opportunity to push cold weather gear. Even though we're getting to the end of the season, it's still an opportune time for branding and to drive some demand. But in areas like the Southwest, where it's really quite warm, this is a chance to consider early spring ads as temperatures will remain well above normal. For the automotive industry, it's all about tires and SUV vehicles where snow is falling or has recently fallen. And again, though we're getting pretty late in the season, there's still weather-driven demand to ring out and branding plays to take advantage of, especially around the weather. As for the entertainment and food delivery industries, bad weather is always a great opportunity to push products to keep people inside, like Netflix and Domino's Pizza. And again, you might want to consider ads for snowblowers. As with wintertime apparel, these products are generally bought earlier in the season. But again, when you have a big snowstorm delivering 8 to 12 inches into the Northeast, into the big cities, it's a great time to get your message out there and to let people know that you have a great product, and to target your marketing budget accordingly. Lastly, this is a perfect time to pitch outdoor recreation, specifically skiing. It's been said that it's not snow at the mountains that drives people to the resorts. It's snow in their backyards, and that's especially true for places like New York City, Philadelphia, D.C., Boston. These areas are getting hit by a big snowstorm, and people are probably going to want to go skiing this weekend. So why not get out in front of them now with an ad that speaks to the recent snowfall? Also, travel and tourism. Cruise lines really do well when it's cold and snowy outside, and so it makes sense to try to take advantage of that with an ad campaign that speaks to the weather. As always, you can find us on Twitter at weatheralpha.com and on LinkedIn and Facebook. I'm Dan Alexander signing out and encouraging you to monitor the weather with an eye on your marketing budget. Thanks very much.